Kicks off right now with Patriot League Men's Lacrosse. Hello from Nickerson Field, Dan McLaughlin with Justin Domingo. So glad you're making us a part of your Saturday for this Patriot League matchup between Loyola and BU. The Greyhounds haven't lost in the Patriot League all season. Along with Lehigh, already punched their ticket to the conference tournament. They've got the inside track to the Patriot League's Iron Throne, but Justin, BU's right there at 3-2.
Absolutely, and with every game in the Patriot League being a tough contest, and the whole league as a whole, it's a dogfight to get in the playoffs. This is big for both teams in terms of, solidifying a home field advantage.
BU's going to need to score some goals here today. Their three-headed monster at attack has been firing on all cylinders this season, and it all starts with the sophomore Chris Gray.
Yeah, Chris Gray, dynamic, right? He can beat you off the dodge, he can shoot from the outside, and his feeding ability makes everybody around him better.
Gray is going to have to be at his absolute best here today because on the other side, Loyola rolls out Pat Spencer.
Yeah, Pat Spencer, arguably the best player in the country right now, along with Chris Gray and Grant Ahmet from Penn State. So, there's another guy that can beat you off the dodge, can shoot from the outside, and can feed. So it's going to be awesome.
Greyhounds sitting at number 2 right now. Spencer, maybe the most dynamic player in men's college lacrosse. We'll also keep an eye on Kevin Lindley, the sophomore who leads the Greyhounds in goals. Number 2 in the country, and with national title aspirations, the Greyhounds will look to avoid the upset against Boston University, who's ready to go. We got opening face-off from Alston coming up next on the Patriot League Network on Stadium.
Loyal offense.
And on the flip side for the Greyhounds, it's another Marylander in net, Jacob Stover, product of McDonough High School.
Yeah, Jacob Stover having a good season this year. Going to be tested by this very potent Terrier attack.
Right off the opening faceoff, Sean Chrisman fires on net. First save of the game for Stover. This is somewhere where BU can make up some ground. Chrisman by himself is third in the Patriot League, north of 61% from the X.
Yeah, Chrisman's had a good season so far, but he's going to be challenged on the other side by Savio, who is no slouch at the X.
Stover tried his luck, skied it, but it's going to be a turnover. The Terriers will be able to clear it. Loyola employs a pretty ferocious ride. Will occasionally go to the 10-man set.
Yeah, so both these teams are big proponents of the 10-man ride. It's kind of become really in vogue because of the shot clock. So right there, Stover taking a chance on with a shot, and Terriers fortunate enough to chase it out.
Here's Josh Williamson for BU, wearing the number 19 today. Him and Timmy Lay have switched for the afternoon. That's for Williamson to honor his late brother, and he lets one fly. Another save by Stover.
Great save by Stover. Always good to get one early here, get the confidence up as a netminder.
So you'll have Timmy Lay wearing Williamson's number 0 today, and Williamson wearing Lay's 19 out of the midfield. Greyhounds lead the Patriot League in scoring. BU's second, but the Greyhounds at 15.09 goals a game. It's going to be a task for McSorley along with his close defenders.
Yeah, you always, when you see the offenses and their output on paper, you think it's going to be a track meet. So hopefully that's what we get here. That's what the people came to see.
Cycling around the perimeter. This is Aiden Olmstead, sophomore midfielder for the Greyhounds. John Duffy. Duffy was an All-Patriot League second-teamer a season ago, also part of the All-Tournament team for a Greyhound squad that's only lost the Patriot League once, and they get an early goal. That's Kevin Lindley, 48th of the season to put the Greyhounds up.
Yeah, Lindley, great move off the wing right there. Just a little quick stutter, gets to his strong hand, and BU unable to get the body on him. Just a real easy finish from about 5 yards out for Kevin Lindley.
Darien, Connecticut native, gets goal number 48 on the season. He is having a breakout year after tying Pat Spencer's program record for goals as a freshman with 37, and nothing fancy right there. He attacked right at Joe McSorley.
No, he had the short stick matchup right there, and he leads the Greyhounds in goals. So, you get him on a short wing like that, he's going to take advantage, and if you don't slide to that top side, he's going to beat you.
These two teams joined the Patriot League in the same year. Their 6th season in men's lacrosse as a member of this conference. Loyola's won 4 of the previous 5 titles. Nice play by the Terrier defense right there, and Reese Eddy will look to start the clear as he connects with Nicholas Ellerton.
Yeah, Savio clean off that draw right there, sparked some good transition. Terriers double pulling the wings, so they had a short stick down there. Kind of got caught in an island, but lucky enough, the trail man made a great play.
Here's James Burr, BU's all-time leading scorer. Tied that record in their first home game of the season against Dartmouth.
Well, we'll see here that as the Terriers get set here, first midfield rolling out.
Here's Jake Cates, who was outstanding in an upset win over Army. Brendan Holmeyer nicked up, and the freshman stepped up. Patriot League Rookie of the Week. 4 goals to go along with 2 assists in that upset. And here's Cates. Cycles it down. Shot goes wide. Chris Gray there to back up. It'll stay with the Terriers.
Yeah, good high wing dodge from the Terriers there. Had the drift on one side and actually had the drift on both sides. They threw it down for a good step down.
Gray, 31 goals this season to go along with 45 assists. And speaking with Coach Ryan Poley at the beginning of the year, he said one of the keys for Chris this season was going to be to look to create his own opportunities and not just feed.
Yeah, you know, it's when you can break defenders down like he does, it's easy to get in a routine where you're giving the ball up before you're taking your own shot. And so Chris has done a great job of balancing that this season.
Greyhounds cause a turnover. Peyton Razanka steers it out. Here's Pat Spencer. Twice a Tewaaraton Award finalist. And the Terriers double him, and he throws it away.
Well, great defense there from Quentin Germain. That's going to be the guy today for the Terriers. Quentin Germain is going to be matched up all day with Pat Spencer. So did a great job there sitting down. Spencer uses his body so well, put his shoulder into him to try to get separation, and just lost his feet on the slick turf.
We've seen some of the highlight reel goals that Spencer scored this year. One against Hopkins, one against Rutgers. He leads the team in points, 36 goals, 46 assists for the boys' Latin product. Shooting on an old high school foe, we mentioned McSorley's a Calvert Hall grad.
Yeah, those two have seen each other before, and you know, definitely I'm sure in the summers, you know, see each other down in Baltimore in summer leagues or around town. So
fed down low, BU ties it up. That's Timmy Lay on a feed from Jared Nugent. It's 1-1, and the track meet has begun.
Great find inside by Jared Nugent. Timmy Lay has been Johnny on the spot all year for the Terriers. Does it again here. Just does a nice job of recognizing when his man steps to the ball, gets to the back pipe, and just a quick catch and finish.
Absolutely no chance for Jacob Stover there. Timmy Lay, the third head of this BU attack. Chris Gray and James Burr command so much attention, and rightfully so, but the freshman really burst onto the scene in that Dartmouth game. He scored 5 goals in the first half, and now that's just another player for defenses to worry about. Part of the reason why the Terriers are second in the conference in goals per game.
Yeah, I mean, you saw from the replay right there, that doesn't happen by mistake. Right? He read his defender, he heads to the ball, and Timmy just finds that open space where he's all alone. You know, a lot of people can't do that, so hats off to Timmy right there. Great read off ball.
Another face-off win for Chrisman. James Burr, back to the point. Here's Chris Gray. Gray's going to be shadowed today by the freshman Cam Wires. BU's going to go up a man here.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Here's Burr. Cuts in. Greyhounds cause a turnover. And now, as the ground ball is scooped up by Olmsted, the BU man up will go, and they have been outstanding this year. They're the only team in the Patriot League that's north of 50%. They're at 57.1.
Yeah, it's a potent man up attack, and I'm sure Loyola coming into the game talked about playing very disciplined defense, and there you saw something undisciplined, right? You can't cross-check someone who's set a pick by thrusting your stick or your arms into them. That's something you could get away with in the 90s, but here in the millennium, you can't get away with that anymore, and just a costly, could be a costly penalty early here for the Greyhounds.
Hard to believe already 2019. Here's Chris Gray. Now in behind the cage, Matt Hilburn on this man-up unit. Shot goes wide from Cates. That's Cates 42, not Burr 2. Hilburn there, it'll stay with BU.
Cates had a great opportunity on that step down, about 9 yards. Probably wants that one back.
Such a versatile player for the Terriers. Scored on that crease dive. There's a shot from Burr. It goes wide, lays there.
Yeah, Jacob Stover looking good here early. Seeing the ball well, really stepping and getting his body in front of a few shots here early.
Stover is last year's Patriot League goalkeeper of the year. Hilburn. Now Lay in front. Holmeyer, bouncer, can't connect. It'll stay here. Hilburn around the crease, and that's going to be another call on Loyola.
Wow. I don't know. We have to see the replay. I think Hilburn might have got bailed out here. I'm not sure if that was a push. He looked to me like he left his feet before the contact was made. But, maybe, and I think he got bailed out because that would have been a force right there. If they don't call the push, that's a turnover. So.
Oh, 100%. We've seen before in both men's and women's lacrosse, you can score a man down. On the women's side, Boston College did it twice in that national title game against James Madison. It was really the only reason they had a chance in that game the way it was going. Dukes ended up holding on, but still. Here's Jet Jama. His first action of the day, another key member of this Terrier man-up unit. Holmeyer, Cates, Burr cycled down low, Gray.
Good little wheel play from the Terriers here, but nothing open.
Holmeyer through X, feeds it back. Jama unleashes, blocked in front.
Yeah, good eat right there by McNulty, but he's limping back into the defensive set right now, so he definitely paid the price on that one.
Ryan McNulty led the team a season ago, 53 ground balls, and now he'll trot off the field. The Greyhounds need all hands on deck at 100% to weather this BU man-up unit.
Yeah, McNulty's gonna have to walk that one off. Never a good thing taking a 80 to 90 mile an hour shot off your quad from about 2 yards.
McNulty's a junior, played 2 games as a freshman, did get the medical hardship waiver, so that will give him another season of eligibility, but certainly not the primary focus for him right now. Here's Gray at the point, feeds for Burr. In down low, Holmeyer fires high.
And that's, a lot of man-up goals have come from that little play right there. Brendan Holmeyer slipping inside the middle of that pinch 3-3 look and just being able to finish efficiently in there. So
Holmeyer having an outstanding season for the Terriers. Named a captain mid-season, the senior, and a lot of BU pundits think that's very well-deserved.
Absolutely. He's a kid with a dynamic leadership set, and happy to see it get recognized.
Gets on the stat sheet as well. 31 points on the season for Holmeyer. Here's Cates. Rolling, stick check coming there from the Greyhounds. Ground ball loose, knocked up by Burr. There's Timmy Lay, and this is about as high as you'll ever see him play.
Hey, great offensive GB there.
Ambitious effort there by Chris Gray. That'll whistle wide.
John Rayleigh taking one off the back, so the Greyhounds challenging shots here.
Rayleigh's part of a lacrosse family. His brother Will was a goalie at UVA. It's a program that's won a national title this decade, led by Steele Stanwyck.
And when you talk a lot about those great UVA teams, Mark Van Arsdale, the offensive coordinator for the Greyhounds, was the longtime offensive coordinator at UVA, and the architect of many of those great offensives that won national championships for the Cavaliers. So he's done the same thing here at Loyola, and definitely still one of the best offensive minds in the game.
UVA was knocked out of the NCAA tournament last year by Loyola. They ended up losing in the next round to Yale, and all they ended up doing was winning the title. Holmeyer feeds down low. Gray stopped on the doorstep by Stover, and Loyola finally able to clear.
Yeah, it was a good look. Timmy's really good on those short corners. A lot of different attackers you'd want to take an extra step there, but Chris has been really effective at finishing from those no angles. So tough break for the Terriers man-up look.
Olmstead being hounded by Cates. Now he'll square up with Chase Levesque, maybe the Terriers' best long stick midi.
Yeah, Chase Levesque, Pride of Ridgefield, dynamic in between the lines.
Duffy. Now in behind Olmstead. Here's Chase Scanlon, the freshman who leads all midfielders in the country in goals this year. 34 of them for him.
Yeah, he's a guy that, you have to keep an eye on and probably have to go to early with his hands free.
If Jermaine's going to be shadowing Spencer, you figure that opens up opportunities for both Scanlon and Lindley. Here is Chase Scanlon. Now Spencer through X. Fed back to the point. Duffy pumps. Scanlon feeds it in. Beautiful tic-tac-toe work. Shot goes wide. Spencer feeds. Unleashing again, and the Greyhounds get one here. It's Olmstead.
Yeah, and, Pat Spencer, and we talked about him in the opening, and he is one of, if not the best offensive player in the country. Right there shows you why. The hand-eye coordination to pick up that shot cleanly and then put it back in play when the defense is in a scramble mode. Unbelievable.
2-1 is the lead for the Loyola Greyhounds, who just weathered a ferocious attack from the BU man-up, and then they respond with a goal by Aiden Olmstead. It's where we stand right now. The Terriers got one from Timmy Lay. Kevin Lindley opened up the scoring for Loyola, and we've already seen the impact that Pat Spencer can have, even when he's not the one putting the ball in the net.
Yeah, his ability to catch that shot cleanly and know who was open there is just, unbelievable, and the reason that Loyola got such a clean look.
It's a Loyola program that has always been strong. They've really taken off here in this millennium. The national champions in 2012, they defeated Maryland. Most outstanding player of that tournament was Eric Lusby. 5 members of the all-tournament team, and one of them was the long-stick midfielder Scott Ratliff, who's really become one of the more prominent faces in men's lacrosse nowadays.
Yeah, Scott Ratliff is a beast, and definitely the face of professional lacrosse right now, or one of the faces, right? But was an unbelievable player in transition for Loyola.
Violation's going to go against Savio. Chrisman has had his way at the X so far. Got to give Paul Rabel some credit there as well with the Premier Lacrosse League.
That's why I said one of the.
Oh, absolutely. And him and Ratliff, among other players, Mikey Powell, of course, they've really helped spearhead the effort to grow this sport. It's always been popular on the East Coast, particularly in Baltimore. It's part of the reason Loyola is so good.
Yeah.
But now it's spreading north. It's spreading west. You got a hot spot in Denver.
Yeah, it's growing like crazy at the youth level, and the exposure through the professional game can only help to, fan those flames.
Here's Hilburn. Crease roll. Shot goes wide. And an effort there from McNulty, who is back on the field after blocking the shot from Jama. But he'll stay with the Terriers, and Chris Gray, who's going to go one-on-one with Wires.
Yeah. McNulty, a guy you got to watch in transition. Really does a great job in the middle of the field and sparks a lot of transition offense for Loyola.
Skip pass for Holmeyer. Feeds it down low. Quick stick from Lay. The game's tied.
Hey, you need one. Who are you going to find? Johnny on the spot. Timmy Lay on the back pipe there. Brendan Holmeyer, again, one of the just the best first steps in the game. Draws a slide constantly when he has the ball on his stick. And there, when you get that defense moving, Timmy Lay finds a great spot on the open backside of that backside pipe and just jams it home.
That's a great feed from Holmeyer there. Lay on the doorstep. He's going to get lost. Burr commands a lot of attention, and Wires is essentially going to be shadowing Gray.
Yeah, listen, it's a lot like trying to guard the Loyola offense on the other side. If you slide, if you hedge, and you get lost and you don't have people filling on that backside, you're going to see dunks like that.
6:26 to go here in the first quarter. 2-all, another face-off win for the Terriers. Here's Gray, feeds down low. Burr scores!
Wow. Chris Gray, amazing handle right there. Keeps that ball alive and enables the Terriers to finish that transition play.
Team leading 36th of the season for James Burr.
Yeah.
Terriers have been awesome on the X here. The ground ball scooped up by Reese Eddy. Make no mistake, finds Gray and then feeds it down low. Burr, from no angle, beats one of the best.
Yeah, you see Chris Gray catches that ball in the air. He's looking across the field at Timmy Lay because that's the first read. Throw it across to the back pipe. But as he's coming down in midair, knows he's not open and just puts it to Burr with a no look.
Another face-off win here for Chrisman. Shovels it back, and the Terriers will slow this one down. Levesque now for Timmy Lay. Getting into postseason time here in the Patriot League, and you can stay connected with the league and its member schools and student athletes through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Patriot League. And it's a really quick spring sports season. Lacrosse does begin at the beginning of February, but they don't really get in conference for over a month. And baseball and softball jam a lot of games into a very short period of time. So really getting down to the wire here, and you can stay connected with everybody as the Terriers are going to go a man up once again. Ground ball still loose. Nugent being shadowed by McNulty.
I guess they called no possession there. I thought the Loyola defender had got that ball up in his stick, but it was checked out. It was technically in his stick.
I agree with you. It certainly looked like that, but play will continue. Greyhounds have killed one man-up opportunity. BU's got 20 to shoot. Gray. So strong, Chris Gray. Maintaining possession, but the Greyhounds shutting down lanes. Here's Michael Laviano. And behind the cage, Burr. Skip pass. Nugent shoots. Saved by Stover. Ground ball still loose. Kicked through by McNulty, and now they will call possession.
Great stop by Jacob Stover. Really one-on-one right there. Nugent just, pretty much has to not hit him. But Stover, great body, makes himself big, gets up on a high arc right there and just eats it with his chest protector.
So number 8 in green, Matt Higgins for Loyola. Make a couple of big plays there, but BU still able to get the opportunity in front, and Stover steps up. His family knows a little bit about playing in the clutch. His father, Matt, was a kicker in the NFL for years. First with Cleveland, then when they moved with Baltimore, and then played a year with the Colts when Adam Vinatieri was hurt. Cates unleashes. That goes wide. Jacob Stover was a kicker, but his dad said this. He could tell he was good at it, but his passion was really in net. And what he's been able to do for Loyola as a 4-year starter, it's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he's enjoyed a great career and is having a great senior year. You think the two things that kicking and goalkeeping have in common is they're both huge mental positions.
Kate shot saved by Stover. Jacob said that as well, that both him and his dad played specialty positions. You got to keep your head in there, and it's another thing. You got to have a short memory. Matt did win a Super Bowl in 2000. Game wasn't close, as BU's going to get called for a push there. And Jacob would love to cap off his college career with a national title, and this team is good enough to do it.
Absolutely. You know, one of the premier teams in the country, top to bottom. So they've had a great year, and they look to keep this rolling as they pursue a Patriot League title.
They're tops in the Patriot League right now. Lehigh's second, and they made short work of the Mountain Hawks in their matchup this season. Loyola winning that one last weekend, 15-9 over a really good team out of Bethlehem. But right now, BU's giving them all they can handle. 3:44 to go in the first quarter. Here's Spencer. Terriers doing an outstanding job on the Greyhound senior. Fed it across, pass broken up and kicked back. Olmsted already scored once. Skip pass. Unleashing, that goes wide. Spencer's the closest one to it. That shot coming from Alex McGovern, another MIAA guy. He's from St. Paul's.
Yeah, Alex had a pretty good year on the second midfield for Loyola. Had a great chance right there.
Spencer tried the crease roll, came out awkwardly. It'll stay with Loyola. They're going to say that was a shot.
Interesting. Looked like a feed.
Yeah, 100%. Did get deflected. It'll stay with the Terriers, fed down low. In front, Lindley saved McSorley.
Wow. Joe McSorley, big kick save right there. Great play for BU.
Terriers in transition. Here's Gray. Pump to the center, now rolls toward the crease.
Awesome to see both of these goalies playing so well early with, both of these offenses clicking early as well. So we've got a gem of a first quarter here.
Yeah, if this continues, we are in for an absolute treat here in Alston. Here's Michael Laviano. It's another great story for the Terriers. That game against Dartmouth back on the 16th was the first time he appeared since 2017. Missed all of last year with an injury, and he's come back, the second-year captain, key member of the Terriers' second midfield unit. Here's Nugent. Jama. James Burr. Now fed back. Jama scores!
Wow. The Jet. Nice finish by Jet Jama right there. And a good little quick offensive series for the Terriers.
2-goal lead for BU. Jet Jama's 7th of the year, scored the game winner in his first college game against Providence. We'll get another look at this shot from Jama.
Yeah, quick little stutter. Jama going to his left hand right there. And, says no slide, no problem. Buries it right off ankle on Stover.
Not sure Stover saw that one out of the cross of Jet Jama. It got on him quick. He reacted late.
Yeah, it might have been a screen there, too. It looked like that defenseman either was sliding or just hedging and just kind of stopped in no man's land. And I think Jacob might have had trouble seeing around him.
It all started with that terrific save by McSorley to deny Kevin Lindley on the doorstep.
Yeah, and that was unbelievable. You can't play better offense than Loyola did there. They get the 2-on-1, they get the 1-on-0 with the goalie, and just, outstanding effort by McSorley to kick that ball out.
Here's a turnover for BU. Chris Gray. Burr. Pumps, fed down low. Gray on the crease. He's got one.
Hey, give and go. James Burr back to Gray, and Gray knows how to finish those. Just cuts on an incredibly tight tangent across the goal mouth, dives across the top of the crease, and finishes on Stover.
Terrier fans have gotten used to this. Gray and Burr. Timmy Lay found some seams early on. Now you're going to leave the stars open, and Chris Gray makes Stover pay.
Yeah, and you know what? To all the young men and young women at home watching this game, that's what happens when you ride hard. Good things happen.
Now we're going to get a timeout. If you're the Loyola Greyhounds, you feel like you need to reset here. You're playing good lacrosse, but BU at home with a terrific crowd on hand is out to play.
Yeah, they came ready to play. Obviously both these teams have great game plans and they're trying to execute, but it's the little things, right? It's effort and attitude on that ride, and you saw two of the best offensive players in the country right there, Chris Gray and James Burr, ride back a goal right there. And Loyola has that ability on the other side. So you got to do the little things right, and you have to clear with integrity and clear the way you practice right there. And for BU, that's a great spark to get a goal off the ride.
He's Justin Domingos. I'm Dan McLaughlin. This has been an outstanding start to this lacrosse game. Now, if you're the Terriers, they did lead last year in that Patriot League semifinal game by a goal. Chase Levesque scoring right before the break. And then Loyola came out to play in the second half. So make no mistake, this is far from over, but this is a dream start for the Terriers.
Yep, absolutely. You know, lacrosse, a big game of runs, right? So BU's had a lot of great momentum, have won the majority of the face-offs here, have dominated probably in time of possession in this first quarter with only about a minute 33 left. And so when you win face-offs and you control the time of possession, you know, good things happen for you. On the other side of that, there's still 3 quarters to play. So we've got a lot of ebbs and flows here to get through.
Loyola has only lost to Boston University once. That was back in 2017. James Burr, an overtime game winner. That was here at home. One of the better moments for BU that season. And as we just mentioned, Loyola was the team that knocked BU out of the Patriot League playoffs last season. So BU's got something to prove.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. You know, I think every time you try a Patriot League team in here, and anytime Patriot League teams face off, there is a storyline, right? And it's almost like, oh, here's another rival, and here's another rival. And, you know, in BU's short history, you know, playing Loyola for the last 6 years, you know, yeah, there have been some epic games. You know, I think back to 2016, BU down at Loyola, tight game, BU up by a goal late in the fourth quarter, and Loyola comes back to tie it, send it to overtime, and in overtime wins on a man-up goal. So there's been a ton of close competitive games here. And, you know, hopefully we get another great one today.
Still in the early stages of what promises to be a terrific rivalry in the Patriot League moving forward. Well, whatever Charlie Toomey said in the timeout worked. Savio feeds down low. Scanlon's shot goes wide.
Yeah, Savio, part of the Savio clan that has dominated the face-off X for Loyola for the last, it seems like 8 years. Did a great job there getting off the whistle and getting forward.
Alluding there to his brother Graham. Graduated back in 2017 for the Greyhounds, and then Bailey steps in the next season, so they have not had a break. Here's Olmsted being shadowed by Carson. Loyola figures they want to get at least one before the quarter. Minute to go. Duffy rolls. He's matched up with Williamson. Short stick's what you usually want, but Williamson played it very well.
Yeah, very physical right there. Got his hands on him and made him go where he wanted him to go.
Spencer skip pass. Connects with Swindell. Now in for Lindley through X, fed back Duffy. Spencer, Scanlon. Loyola wasting no time here. Chase Scanlon splits, but BU slides to double. That's Eddie.
Yeah, and it's just awesome, you know, how Loyola uses Pat Spencer. Here you see him dodging from the top, triggering the offense.
Duffy stonewalled by McSorley. Ground ball picked up by the junior netminder, and he is absolutely rocked by Spencer.
Well, he got away with a slash and a cross check there, so great ride from Pat Spencer, but I think there could have been a penalty there.
Yeah, that was a physical play, we'll call it, but give Joe McSorley credit. He didn't shy away from that for a second.
No, you know, I think one of McSorley's many strengths is his ability to play outside the cage, right? He's great on ground balls. He has a great stick, clears the ball extremely well, and he's you know, whenever you have a goalie like that who can play outside of the cage and is athletic, he wins you back possessions. And right there, unfortunately for the Terriers, it didn't work out because of the great ride from Pat Spencer. But, you know, Joe steals a lot of possessions back for the Terriers.
One of the things that Ryan Poley told me at the beginning of the season as well was that Joe's at his best when they play good defense in front of him. But when he has to step up and make a bunch of saves, he can. He made 13 of them in that postseason game against Loyola a year ago, and he was absolutely phenomenal. In that opener against Providence, he made 24 saves.
Yeah, Joe McSorley is a guy that can steal a game for you. So, you know, he can a lot of times buy you time when your defense isn't playing as well, or really can steal you a game when your defense doesn't play well all game.
Well, the defense and McSorley are going to have to be good because Loyola's offense is unrelenting. They've only scored 2 so far, but McSorley's made 2 highlight reel saves, and Germain and company have been absolutely outstanding. But we've seen the Terrier attack as well. They're second in the conference, and they've been even better this season than what they usually are.
Right, and that's so when you face defensively, when you face 2 offenses like this, both in Loyola and BU, you don't want to give them second chances, right? So down here, that, you know, the great ride from Pat Spencer gets the ball back for Loyola. You don't want to give them that second chance because we saw it twice down here already for the Terriers, right? On the ride, on the great hustle on the loose ball and a couple man-ups, Terriers were able to retain possession and converted both of those into goals. So you do not want to give these offenses second chances.
Shot clock a non-factor now. 25 seconds to go in the first quarter. BU leads Loyola 5-2. Pat Spencer with the ball in his cross. Men up. Has been kind to BU so far. See what Loyola can do here. Duffy unleashes, blocked in front, picked it up, shot, score!
Great rebound out of John Duffy right there, the Portland, Oregon native. Just takes his own and has a great finish right there. Loyola playing the two-man game to start that set, try to run Pat Spencer off a pick, and BU does a good job defending. Quentin Germain gets around it, plays solid defense, but we saw that you gotta honor him. So BU's defense kind of hedged towards him, gave him a little bit of space, and Duffy was open on that push.
You said no more second chances. Nothing they could have done about that one, but still, it's a second chance opportunity, and Loyola won't waste it.
Yeah, they didn't right there. John Duffy made sure of that.
8 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Clean win off the face-off here could give a team an opportunity. Both Stover and McSorley got to be on their toes. It's kicked back by Chrisman, so it looks like BU is going to be content to ride this one into the quarter. Fed in by Levesque. And that'll do it for the first 15 minutes. It's 5-3 Terriers. Their offense has been rolling. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a few. This is the Patriot League Network on Stadium. 12 of those 20 from BU are on target with Justin Domingos. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and we expected a track meet. So far, we've gotten it.
Yeah, it's been fun. And, we were just talking in the break. Both of these defenses are playing pretty good, but it's tough to play great against awesome offense.
Yeah, you can't stop awesome. That's your line. We're going to use it quite a bit here. Face-off controlled by Loyola. This is Swindell. Now Olmsted. No reason to panic if you're the Greyhounds. Olmsted will square up Michael Doxey. Shot, that hit the pipe.
Great take. Olmsted, such a great little dodger. And, Michael Doxey playing pretty good defense there, but Olmsted with a great look goes off the pipe.
Doxey fed it in. That shot whistled wide, coming for BU there from Drew Lucas.
Lucas, great in transition right there. Shows you he's got some of the best wheels in the country.
Here's Chris Gray. Rolling in high steps. Now splits back, lost his balance. Checked away. Nice defensive effort by Wires. Still being hounded. Gray, with one hand, scoops up the ground ball. Now fires. That one got away from him a little bit, but Burr's right there.
Yeah, and, Stover, nothing he could do there. He's like a deer in headlights. Just, hopefully it hits me.
Chris Gray's eyes must have been as wide as saucers right there. The Red Sea parted for him. We should say the Green Sea. Shot went high. It'll stay with the Terriers and still with 40 on the shot clock.
Looks like Loyola coming out in the zone.
Got to find some way to slow down this Terrier attack. Here's Burr. Now Gray through X. Backhand. What a goal! Burr from Gray once again. We'll see that one multiple times this week.
Wow. Quick little hitter. Not sure this is designed. I think it's just two guys that have played together for now a year, over a year and a half, almost 2 years, and just know where each other are going to be. But, quick little behind the back flip in the dunk right here from James Burr. Can't settle right there. And that's tough. That's tough for, I think, on the backside for Loyola right there. John Raley just kind of, he's got to honor two offensive players right there. He's got to honor Burr behind the cage and the backside look, and just never thought the dunk was coming.
Well, if that was designed, that's some of the best choreography you'll ever see.
You know what? Let's give Coach credit right there. We'll give Coach Filippo, the offensive coordinator for BU, some credit right there. Great design. Right
how they drew it up. All right, Chris, you're going to roll around the crease, flip it behind your back. James, I want you to shoot against one of the best goalies in the country with no angle. And that's how we're going to beat Loyola.
Wow. Corey Millhouse with a big hit in the middle of the field right there. D. Cleats Williamson.
Williamson will play for James Burr. Now the Terriers will slow things down at home and with all the momentum.
It's almost funny now when you see a hit like that. I'm always just waiting for the flag, the way the game's called, and rightfully so. We want to protect players and protect hits to the head. So when you see an actually clean hit that is let go, it's almost shocking. I'm always scanning the field for a flag.
Yeah, and you see this across sports. There's a ton of conversation, obviously, about concussions in football. Also, key aspect in safety in hockey, and lacrosse is no exception. It's a physical game, and sometimes you see a hit like that slides, but you're absolutely right. More often than not, the flag comes out.
I think it's tough. A lot of officials grew up playing football and probably officiating football. I know a great many of the collegiate officials that you see in the Northeast do officiate football as well. So, it's hard sometimes to let those big hits go.
Sidewinder from Jama went wide. BU's got 3 to shoot, and Gray can't find the target either. So that's going to be a shot clock violation and a turnover. It'll go back to Loyola.
Great effort from Chris Gray right there. Just completely smoked the double team. Got top side and just couldn't finish.
See what the Terrier ride can do here. They do employ the 10-man ride. We've already seen Stover try once. Whistled well high. That's the type of thing that both Army and Holy Cross in the Patriot League do well. Just moonshot their clears. And you don't want to say hope for the best because you got guys in the right position, but it seems like more often than not you end up with situations like we just saw.
Yeah, that one was interesting right there. Listen, it's a great strategy to shoot on goal, and it's been one that a lot of teams have employed from the get-go. I know, Yale, where Ryan Poley coached before he got the head job here, they were huge proponents of shooting on 10-man rides, and right there, that was more to me like a pass and not a shot.
Here's Duffy in behind the cage. Olmstead fed it up. Scanlon unleashes. The Greyhounds get one back.
Man, he can shoot. I've seen him on film. I've yet to see him live, so this is pretty fun to see Chase Scanlon play live right there. Just a great look from behind the cage. Chase Scanlon naked on that backside, steps into a 12-yarder, and with his hands free, not a chance that any goalie in the country is going to save that.
See Olmstead there, feeds it across, and then Scanlon, the sidewinder, beats McSorley. Scanlon, he is a freshman, but you can't call him inexperienced. Comes from IMG Academy, one of the more prestigious places you can play lacrosse prior to college, and also won a bronze medal in Israel at the World Championships with the Iroquois national team.
Yeah, he's got a ton of experience in where he grew up and in all the places he's been able to play since leaving there. So a guy that doesn't shrink away from big games or the spotlight.
Now just 2 goals away from the Loyola record for goals as a freshman. That is jointly held by Pat Spencer and Kevin Lindley. Now teammates with Scanlon. Again, leads the nation among midfielders in goals. That's number 35. He's also got 11 assists on the season, so an absolutely terrific opening campaign for him. Here's Olmstead. Skip pass, Spencer. High steps, rolls, doubled. Kept it in his cross. That's the skill from the boys' Latin product. Checked away. Terrific cause turnover that time from Risetti.
Great catch by Michael Doxey right there in transition.
Doxey shoots. That goes high. It'll stay with the Terriers. Michael Doxey's got 3 goals on the year, more known as a defensive midfielder, but he's dangerous in transition.
He is. Michael Doxey was a great offensive player for Niskayuna, so he's not inexperienced on the offensive side of the ball.
Terriers have 66 to shoot here. Get a look there at Timmy Lay. Here's Gray, crease roll, diving, scoring.
Wow. Well, you gotta go to that. You can't, if you're gonna put somebody on the island against Chris Gray is gonna annex that island, and you saw it right here. Great job of just selling topside and just comes quick little split dodge, gets underneath, and with his speed and ability to finish, you got to slide to that.
He just blew right by Cam Wires, who did not have help.
Yeah, it's just hard to defend, right? You're ingrained as a defender. Take away topside. And, when you're doing a good job of that, unfortunately, you open underneath up, and with Chris Gray's speed, he's hard to stop.
Gray scored a goal in all but 1 game this year. The only one he didn't was back on March 9th at Colgate, and he had 5 assists in that one, so we'll give him a pass.
Yeah, that's a career for some people.
A good career for some people, too. Another face-off win for Chrisman. He's been outstanding. BU's 8 out of 13 from the X.
Yeah, it's been funny, that both of these face-off, the main face-off men for BU and Loyola, Savio and Chrisman are dynamic. But when they've won these face-offs, they really haven't been scraps or 50-50 balls. They've been clean wins. Savio has broke a couple. So it's going to be interesting to see how that game plays out in the second half as well as the rest of this quarter.
Every faceoff's going to be crucial in the second half. Not that they're not right now. There's another roll. That one's stonewalled on the doorstep by Stover. Opportunity there for Matt Hilburn.
Great stop by Stover right there. Just doesn't come off his pipe, reads the ball low, and is able to smother it.
Stover's career high in saves is 19, and that was in that NCAA tournament game that they lost to Yale. It was an 8-5 final. So, first of all, give the Yale defense credit for holding Loyola to 5 goals.
Absolutely.
But also, that Yale attack, you got Ben Reeves, you had Matt Gaudet. I mean, if you told Loyola going into that game you're going to hold them to 8, they'd be feeling pretty good.
Yeah. So, flag down here. Chris Gray is going to be called for a slash on that ride.
Loyola will go a man up. Delayed call. Love to get one before that. That one can't connect. The ground ball is going to be popped up into the air and eventually ends up in the cross of Will Carson. So now we'll see Loyola. The man advantage, they're 43.2 on the year. BU defends, opponents are 27.9 against them.
Yeah, you know, the BU man down this year's had a pretty good year so far. But again, we know this is a very potent offensive attack unit, so they're going to be tested here early. Got to be really tight with their rule sets, and hopefully the film study this week paid off.
Well, so far it certainly has. Loyola team that gives up fewer than 10 goals a game and scores north of 15. BU's going to need an attention to detail if they want to win this game, and so far they've done absolutely everything right.
Yep, but you know you can't take penalties on the ride as an attackman. That's the one thing you can control there, is you know your effort and your hustle. Right now, unfortunately for Chris, just a little overzealous right there, and takes probably what is a bad penalty for BU.
Here's Spencer, gives it off. Duffy. Quick work here for the Greyhounds. Swindell, Spencer, fed down low. Scanlon splits, dives, shot.
Wow.
Loyola says they got it. McSorley kept it out.
Wow. Unbelievable effort from Joe McSorley there. You know, Chase Scanlon's so crafty around the cage, and I think maybe next year when Pat Spencer's graduated, you're going to see Scanlon playing attack for the Greyhounds, and he shows you why he can do it right there.
BU turns it over there. Kate's just not able to elevate enough to get to that one. But still, a terrific effort by McSorley, and then they are going to force Loyola to take it out of their defense. McSorley playing an outstanding game against one of the bigger programs from around where he grew up. He's from Forest Hill in Harford County.
And a guy, you know, that BU went after pretty hard to get up here. Wanted to, early in the program's, you know, history, wanted to make some headway in the Mid-Atlantic, in the Baltimore and D.C. area, and Joe was one of really the first big, you know, Maryland recruits after that freshman class that the Terriers had here. And
he sat for a year behind Christian Carson Bannister as Loyola gets one. Beauty from Aiden Olmstead. The BU lead is back to 2.
Yeah, Aiden Olmstead, great little move right there. Takes on the double team, not afraid to take a little contact to finish.
7-5 here in Alston. You're watching the Patriot League Network on Stadium. Back here in Alston, Massachusetts, Boston University given the number 2 team in the country all they can handle right now. They lead Loyola 7-5, but the Greyhounds just getting a goal on the man up after the slash taken by Chris Gray. Aiden Olmstead gets number 2.
Yeah, great little shake here to his left hand, and is able to get underneath that double team and just pins the ball off McSorley's hip.
BU slid well there and did everything they could to smother him. You saw Thomas Schmidt in there as well as Josh Williamson, but just too strong that time from the Painted Post New York native.
Yeah, you got to take away the middle of the field. And so, you know, when you haven't done that with the on-ball defender and you send a second guy, if he doesn't do it, bad things happen. So great job by Olmstead getting to the middle of the field.
Chrisman against Savio at the X. Sean Chrisman has won 8 out of 13 for the Terriers. Also good on the wings with the long stick midfielders in Reese Eddy and Chase Levesque.
Yeah, and the Terriers have stayed in this double pole look. They've had 2 long poles on every faceoff, and it's worked really well for them.
Kicked forward by Chrisman. Going to get a 50-50 ground ball scooped up by McNulty. He'll connect with John Rayleigh, another Maryland native. He's from Georgetown Prep. Loyola does a nice job of recruiting locally, and then when they need to, they can go out and get players from just about anywhere.
Yeah, you know, Loyola being a great university, obviously attracts students from all over the country. So when you've got one of the hotbeds in your own backyard, that makes it fun and easy. And then being able to recruit nationally as well with the university's credentials helps too.
Well, and you get inherent rivalries right there. You got Johns Hopkins essentially right across the street. And also Towson, who took down the Greyhounds earlier this year. It knocked them off the #1 spot.
Yeah, it's awesome to see all three of those programs and UMBC, all being relevant and all playing well. Again, it just makes lacrosse more fun in Baltimore.
Well, and UMBC has made headlines all over the place after their victory in the NCAA basketball tournament a season ago over UVA. Give the Cavaliers credit; they came back and won a title this year.
Yeah, good rebound.
Yeah, we'll say that championship game against Texas Tech was absolutely fantastic for the sport, and we got a terrific championship game here in lacrosse a season ago with Yale and Duke.
Yeah, Yale and Duke was an epic slugfest, and the Bulldogs winning the championship game in epic style, with Ben Reeves, who, arguably, again, last year was the best player in college lacrosse, but capping off an outstanding career for him in that Yale team bringing home the championship.
This Loyola team certainly capable of competing with the likes of Yale, and BU has been able to slow them down by causing turnovers. They lead the Patriot League in turnovers per game, and today, it's not that they've caused a ton of them. They've caused 4, but it's been timely, and then in transition, they've been outstanding.
Yeah, they do a really good job. BU has some great long poles, good long stick middies, and close defensemen, and Chase Levesque up at that long stick midi position, and Quentin Germain, and Reese Eddy and Nick Ellerton playing down low, but they do an excellent job of when they get the ball on the deck, they pick it up, and that's what leads to so many turnovers.
Levesque missed some time last year with an injury, only played in 9 games, and you could feel the difference for BU, and Chase Levesque wasn't in there, but he's been healthy this season, and the Ridgefield, Connecticut native has been outstanding.
Yeah, he's dynamic on the ball. He is great off the deck, gets the ball up in his stick first time, and he can score, so when you have a long pole like that, and Loyola has one in McNulty, they can make awesome things happen on both sides of the field.
Here's Pat Spencer. Hasn't scored a goal yet. Quentin Germain's done an outstanding job on him.
He hasn't scored, but he's led to a lot of good looks for the Greyhounds.
What a play there by Levesque to intercept that pass from Swindell. And now Levesque in transition, pumps, splits, feeds Gray.
It's funny, one of the first things when we recruited Chase here to BU that we said about him when we met to talk about him was he's so rangy. And there you see it. He's just so rangy. He can make plays like that. It's almost like having that length in basketball to defend.
That's Justin Domingo's former assistant coach of this Boston University squad. Helped recruit a lot of these players, and it's got to be rewarding for you to see what they've turned into.
It's fun to watch. Coach Poley and Coach Filippo and Coach, they've all done such a good job with this group, so it's a lot of fun to watch.
Loyola gets one in transition. They don't waste any time. It's a hat trick for Aiden Olmstead, and we've got a 1-goal game.
Yeah, you can't let them get loose like that. So tough turnover for BU turns into instant offense for the Greyhounds, and they're not going to miss that 1-0.
Sorely left out to dry there. You see just an errant pass. Jack Collins lost sight of it, and then Loyola, they're an opportunistic team. They're so skilled at the attack position, but they also will take advantage of your mistakes. They're quick in the midfield. They cause a decent amount of turnovers themselves, that one uncaused.
Yeah, and
but
that's
still,
just a young player in Jack Collins. Instead of maybe getting in the hole right there, he tries to make the all or nothing play, and unfortunately he got the nothing, not the all, and Loyola makes this a 1-goal game. Yeah.
Chrisman wins another face-off, and he'll find Chris Gray out of pressure. 5:40 to go here in the first half. BU leads Loyola by a goal.
But you love your chances right there. You make a bad play defensively, turn the ball over offensively, it leads to a goal, and you come back with a face-off win. So that helps to ease the pain.
Loyola's going to get there. It's not realistic to expect that they're not going to score. For BU, it's going to be about limiting them and getting their own opportunities as Stover stonewalls Hilburn, but the flag's going to come out. BU will go a man up.
Yeah, Hilburn right there gets underneath his defender. Great save by Stover to shut him out right there. Really got to work hard to wrap that around the goalie when you get underneath your defender. But BU bailed out with the push, and they're going to be man up.
Matt Hilburn, another player that's got some family ties to BU's brother Ryan, 4-year starter here. His mom Lisa playing lacrosse at Gettysburg.
That's right. Go Bullets.
Gettysburg's women's lacrosse team, the defending national champions.
Yep, Dad Chris Hilburn played football at Gettysburg.
Split right down the middle in the household. Couple of bullets, couple of terriers. Here's James Burr. Now for Chris Gray at the point. Holmeyer, who had the assist on the goal that Burr scored that tied the BU all-time scoring record. As that shot whistles high, it'll stay with the Terriers. Broke Jack Wilson's record, who was an All-Patriot League pick a season ago, as was Chris Gray. James Burr is certainly making a case to get that himself as another shot goes high, that one from Holmeyer.
Great handle from Brendan Holmeyer right there. You know, we talked about that in that first man up in the first quarter. Holmeyer very dangerous this year on man up. They play that pinch 3-3 right there, and he's the high crease man. If you leave him open, he's been very effective at finishing right there. That one just sailed a little high.
Holmeyer's got 15 goals on the season. He was a second-team All-Patriot Leaguer 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep, had an off year last year, but has come back with a vengeance in his senior campaign and is scoring, goals at a clip that he's never done before, and really has, was always kind of a feed first guy. Now he's become a dual threat out of that first midfield, which has been huge for this Terriers offense.
Most of the players on this Terrier offense are dual threats, and it's what makes them so dangerous. As Lay scoops it up and bounces it by Stover.
So they missed the feed to Holmeyer right there, who was wide open, but Timmy Lay, again, Johnny on the spot, just a quick catch and finish around Stover.
Well, and with all the attention that Holmeyer commands, and with all of the attention that both Burr and Gray command, Lay's going to find himself with some space, and right here, right on the crease, Johnny on the spot scoops it up and bounces it by Stover. The BU lead is 2 on the third goal of the game by Timmy Lay. Scored his first career goal at Ohio State. It's the only game BU's lost this year by more than 2 goals.
Yeah, great finish right there from Tim Lay.
Lay's got now 6 hat tricks on the season as Chrisman wins another. Working quickly, pass skips over Eddie, but scooped up by Lay. Levesque unleashes, bouncer goes high.
The old 18-yard step down right there from Chase, and thank gosh with that long pole, he had a lot of torque on that one, because that was either going underneath the bar or out of bounds.
Levesque's got 5 on the year. He's a threat to score.
He is, and I think you get nervous when your long poles shoot from 18 yards. So luckily for him, he's got enough torque and enough power that it's either going to go in the net or out of bounds, and that's what you want from your defenseman.
Well, and a player that Ryan Poley trusts to do that, you can give him the green light because he knows he'll take it when it's there.
Yeah, he's a really good decision maker.
So here's Jet Jama rolling through. He had a step on the short stick Higgins. The Greyhounds recover here. Jama fed back. Nugent down low. Laviano lost it. Ground ball is going to be picked up by Rayleigh, and the BU ride will go to work again.
BU in the 10-man right now, so being really aggressive here and early and staying in it through the second quarter.
A spot-up man situation here. Joe McSorley against Pat Spencer. Stover. Shot from distance. Bounces in! That's the risk you run with the 10-man ride. Give the goal to Cam Wires.
Yeah, Cam Wires, great shot right there. The Ottawa, Ontario native just kind of stepped into one sidearm from the top of his restraining box, and nothing the Terriers could do right there. It was a great 10-man ride. Unfortunately, if you have defensemen that can shoot, that is the risk you run.
Wires, who played a year of football in high school, 4 years of hockey. He's an Everest Academy product. He attended 3 different high schools before settling in at Everest, and Loyola's hoping he settles in Baltimore for 4 years.
Yeah, he's a guy they don't want to let out. So, great effort from Cam right there on that shot.
Loyola's asking so much of Wires here today because he's the one that's tasked with defending Chris Gray. And he's done a nice job and gets a goal to boot right there, helps himself out.
Yeah, I think it's his athleticism that won him that matchup. And he's done, I think a fairly good job so far. I don't think Chris Gray is someone that you can really put any defender on in the country and tell them that you're not going to slide to them.
Gray has earned that level of respect. Spencer's had it for a while. Lindley is approaching that air as well.
Yeah.
And Chris Gray, again, just a sophomore.
Yeah. We saw Lindley benefit from that short stick matchup off the face-off in the first quarter, and definitely a guy you can't let loose either.
Skip past Scanlon, saved by McSorley. Ground ball picked up by Eddie.
timely ground ball play from Reese Eddy right there.
Jermaine being shadowed by Spencer. Jermaine, the senior captain, never appeared in a game for BU without starting.
Yeah, he's been a great one since he got here his freshman year.
Going to get a timeout on the field here. BU leads Loyola 8-7. The Greyhounds 9-2 on the season. Only losses to Towson and Duke. Not exactly an indictment of a lacrosse team there.
Yeah. Quick turnover here by the Terriers.
Rayleigh out of the back. That was a 3-game stretch for Loyola. They lost to Towson, and they beat Holy Cross by 4. A terrific performance by the Crusaders. Even their goaltender, Jonathan Tesoro, gave up 19, but made a couple of massive saves. Then they drop one to Duke. They haven't lost since.
Yeah, they've been on a hot streak here, and BU hoping they can end that today.
That shot finds the top corner. A laser beam from Peter Swindell, and we've got a tie game.
Yep, great step in right there. So high wing dodge from Loyola. Have the opportunity to go down the alley or sweep across the top. They swept across the top right there and just hit the I think was it Aiden Olmstead that stepped into that one. Aiden Olmstead on the drift right there. Just his defender hedged. He drifted away from the ball and just was able to uncork low to high from about 10 yards.
All knotted up at 8. Faceoff's going to be so key in this game for both teams, as we expected. Chrisman against Savio. Chrisman, the Pennsylvanian Malvern Prep product, loses this one to Savio. Kicked back. Here's Pat Spencer. And the Greyhounds are going to settle this one down, an opportunity for them to take their first lead of the game since 1-0.
Yeah, we talked about those ebbs and flows, so here comes a flow for Loyola. BU's defense has to be up to the task here to stop this and get them, one last offensive possession to end the half.
And if you're BU, you had to know this was coming at some point. Now it's just about stopping the bleeding. Scanlon. One thing BU's done well here is keeping the ball to the perimeter. Loyola's connected on some absolutely gorgeous shots.
Yeah, the passing is what stood out to me.
Kevin Lindley on the crease roll gets goal number 49, and the Greyhounds are back up.
And we just talked about him a few minutes ago. Kevin Lindley, one of the offensive players for Loyola you cannot sleep on. Excellent finish from Kevin Lindley.
Lindley's such an interesting story for the Greyhounds. He's a product of Darien High School, another absolute lacrosse powerhouse. He's originally from Darien. His mom's the head coach of the women's team there. And she apparently is one of his harshest critics. According to Charlie Toomey, no matter what he'll say to him, he'll get it harder from his mom. But that's one of the reasons that he says this. It's one of the reasons he's become so good.
I would imagine so. His mom is one of the, I think, all-time winningest high school lacrosse coaches, has built that program into a perennial national contender, and knows the game of lacrosse. So I can only imagine, not knowing either of them personally, what it's like to get critiqued by someone who obviously drives a program to such a high level. So good for him, good for his mom, and it's been a great start to his career at Loyola.
It all comes from a place of love, and Lindley, his mom was also a 4-time All-American at UMass, played both field hockey and lacrosse. His dad was a baseball player at Yale.
Yeah.
So there's quite the New England college sports presence in that household, but Kevin Lindley decided to go down to the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, they don't lack for athletic talent there. I'd like to see some of those backyard games, maybe the Thanksgiving Day football game in the backyard at the Lindley house. It's probably pretty cutthroat.
Jacob Stover only gives up north of 10 goals a game. BU is on their way to shattering that number, but he's made a couple of crucial saves to keep this one close when the Terriers were up by a couple of goals, and that's allowed Loyola to battle back. They now lead.
Yeah, I've seen Jacob live a couple times this year on TV, and seeing him here today, I think this might be one of his best performances to date. He's just seeing the ball really well. He's stepping to it. He's getting big. Listen, he's a big goalie to begin with. Not huge, but he's bigger than a lot of goalies. And when he plays that higher arc, it just kind of sometimes it makes you feel like there's nothing to shoot on.
Last year led the Patriot League in save percentage, second in goals against average. This year again leads the Patriot League in save percentage at 59.7, and he's third in GAA. Face-off kicked out by Savio, and he'll scoop up the ground ball. Minute 14 to go here in the first half. Loyola leading for the first time since 1-0, and now playing quickly. checked away by Quinton Germain towards the sideline, and it's going to go to the Terriers. Great effort by the senior.
Yeah, great ride by the Terriers right there, and a big-time timely play because Savio is getting hot.
Here's Michael Doxey. Fed it back. Levesque. Again, lost it just a little bit, and it goes high. 53 to go. Shot clock a non-factor. Loyola leads BU by a goal. Here's James Burr. Up for Brendan Homeyer. Matt Hilburn and the Westchester, Pennsylvania native. Both him and Chrisman are Malvern Prep products. Here's Jake Cates. We mentioned how good he was against Army. The Patriot League Rookie of the Week. Had the highlight reel crease dive. And now with 25 seconds to go, BU content to slow things down. The lacrosse equivalent of holding for last shot. Here's Cates. Now goes through X, splits back, rolls his way around Razanka. Cates rolls, shoots, scores! An individual clinic by Jake Cates, and he beats Stover to tie the game at 9 with just 9 ticks left on the clock here on the scoreboard in Alston. You're seeing 7 right there. Either way, it's right down to the wire. Got another brief look at the roll there behind the crease, and again, we'll have a late face-off here. And a clean win will lead to a potential shot on goal. Otherwise, we'll go into the half knotted up. Chrisman wins it clean. Full head of steam goes Sean Chrisman. Keeps it, shoots wide. It's backed up by the Terriers. They might have a chance for a quick stick if they hurry. And the cross of Chris Gray. Feeds it back in front, intercepted by Stover. That'll do it for the first half. An absolute treat here in Alston. Knotted up at 9 between BU and Loyola. We'll take a quick break, and when we conference win against Syracuse, but they played a tight one on Tuesday night at home against Georgetown, a 16-14 result. A Hoyas program that made the NCAA tournament a season ago. They've really come into their own, and they gave Loyola, number 2 in the country, all they could handle. BU's doing the same here as we're now rejoined in the booth by Justin Domingos, and just kind of breaking down how the Terriers need to come out strong. But first, did you enjoy your conversation with Drew Maricello?
Yeah, great talk with Drew, as always. What a dynamic leader for Boston University athletics, and a guy that was instrumental, along with Mike Lynch, in bringing men's lacrosse to BU.
Maricello overseeing a BU athletics program that's had a lot of success here this season across a number of sports. Women's hockey team wins the Beanpot. Men's hockey team gets to the Final Four in Hockey East. They ran into a bit of a freight train with how good some of those teams were. Northeastern won that tournament, and UMass, who didn't win the tournament and lost in the Final Four there to Boston College, is now in the national championship game.
Yeah, no, good year for BU athletics, and hopefully the spring finishes strong like the winter did.
Early face-off won here by Bailey Savio. We'll see what McSorley and company can do defensively. They've been outstanding on Pat Spencer. They've limited him to just 1 assist.
Yeah. Savio's getting going now. I think that's 3 in a row. So BU's got to really dial in on their face-offs and their wing play here to kind of tip that battle back in their favor.
1 point face-offs were 8-5 in favor of the Terriers. It's now 11-10. Spencer, probably the odds-on favorite preseason to take home the Tewaaraton. He's been a finalist twice.
Yeah, and probably his to lose, right? And he hasn't done anything to show that he's lost pace. So, just an outstanding attackman. And I think when you see him live, the biggest thing that I notice is how physical he is.
Shot there from Spencer, stonewalled by McSorley. And there's the physicality from Spencer as he knocks that one wide of the cage. McSorley will scoop it up. Wild effort there by Scanlon. Joe McSorley stays composed. As there's the physicality from Spencer, not going to get away with it this time.
Not this time, right? Might have gotten away with it on Joe McSorley in that first half. Didn't get away with it there. So, but again, what makes Pat Spencer great? Well, obviously he's really talented offensively and skill-wise, but he's a relentless competitor and he rides hard. So, the intangibles that he brings, the competitiveness, his ability that makes his ability to affect the game so great.
BU with a chance here to take the lead as Doxy squares up the short stick Higgins. Now they'll settle it back down. They got 50 to shoot, took their time clearing it. Levesque had to elevate to collect the pass from Ellerton. And now they're going to get some fresh faces out there. Here's Cates, who had an unbelievable goal at the end of the first half on a terrific individual effort to tie this one up.
Yeah, what a goal scorer, and BU coming right out of the box here, looking to go to the goal.
Burr blows by Boland, but the junior Cole Boland recovers. Now Burr gets doubled, trying to shake free. Ball kicks out. Ground ball is going to be scooped up by Cates.
So Loyola looks like they're coming out with a little different look to start the second half. They're shutting off Chris Gray, trying to not allow him to get the ball. So BU's going to have to adapt to that really quickly and do something to get him involved.
Holmeyer fed it in. Shot goes wide. Gray's there to back up. Good look from Burr, but it's going to be turned over.
Yeah, so, you know, the shutoff can affect you in a couple different ways. And one of the biggest ways is that it can kill kind of your flow to your offense, right? So all first half, he wasn't being shut off. Chris Gray's playing in the flow of the offense.
Hilburn! Beautiful feed there, and Hilburn does not miss. The Terriers back up by a goal.
So what do you do when things aren't going well for you in the 6-on-6 game? You ride hard and make things happen. Here we see the Terriers with an absolutely opportunistic play. Hilburn springs himself loose and finishes the one-on-none with Stover.
It's the second assist of the game for James Burr. It's usually not his bread and butter, just his 11th of the season. And we say just, that's a good total. But he's much more of a goal scorer. He's now got 37 on the year. But he shows you right there, he's got the vision as well.
Yeah, you know, I think you describe James Burr first. You say he's a pure goal scorer. But he doesn't lack for the ability to give it to other people. He just, in the core concept of this offense, he a lot of times is put in places, you know, to shoot. And with obvious reason, right? He's an amazing goal scorer, so it makes sense.
Find a way to get him on an island. We talked about when you leave Chris Gray there, he's gonna add it. Burr, so dangerous from outside. He passes the ball well. Such a strong attack for BU as Scanlon just throws it right into Joe McSorley.
Yeah, he interesting pass right there. I think he might have been trying to not pass that ball and it just kind of slipped out of his stick. But opportunistic play by McSorley to get the ball.
Gray. Shot, score! What an effort there by Chris Gray, and the BU lead is 2.
Yeah, you might want to go back to shutting Chris Gray off right there, because when he's free, getting to the middle of the middle of the field with those hands free, it is a bad thing for opposing goalies.
They slide to double James Burr, and then Chris Gray, Wires got back to him, but just an athletic play there.
Well, listen, great counter move by the BU offense, right? Okay, you're going to shut him off behind the cage. We'll put him up top of the cage, up near the restraining box. And if you want to shut off up there, fine. But we're going to beat you to the middle of the field. Loyola's defense wasn't willing to do that. They hedged down to the ball and, you know, didn't have a great response with their scramble to get to Chris Gray in time.
Well, and if you try to shut off Chris Gray from the wing like that, remember you got Timmy Lay, who's already scored 3 times on the doorstep.
Right. Pick your poison.
They're all dangerous. It's why the Terriers are so good this season. As this one is kicked around quite a bit, it'll pop back out, eventually scooped up by Levesque, but then he lost it.
Great play, Chase Levesque right there to hockey the ball over to Eddie in the middle of the field, but he loses it.
Loyola causes a turnover. They've seen BU score the first 2 here in the third quarter. Physical play, the Terriers cause another one right back as Lindley lost it.
Yeah, great hustle right there. There was a loose ball push on Loyola right there that wasn't going to get called, so Terriers lucky that they checked that ball out of bounds.
Laviano, St. Anthony's product from Upper Brookville, New York. We mentioned Baltimore quite a bit as a hot spot. New York, Long Island in particular, which is where Jermaine came from, as well as Lay, is really, it's been 1A, and it's kind of been the base for where a lot of lacrosse has grown up and down the East Coast.
Yeah, and, you know, I think for a Massachusetts school to really become, you know, a high-achieving program, you need to have a base of Long Island players in your program, and you need to have a base of New England kids, and then be able to recruit nationally, and that's what BU's done.
Save by Stover. Good opportunity from Lay, but Gray is right there.
Those great UMass teams in the late 80s, early 90s were all, core Long Island kids.
Good feed from Gray, looking for Nugent, but Loyola able to weather the storm.
Great look right there. Nugent, he sees that on film. He's gonna want one. He's gonna want that back. If he took maybe one more step, pumped it, and just tried to wrap it around, he probably had a much better chance to score.
Saw Gray take a penalty on the ride in the first half. Burr does the same right there. He didn't like the call, but Loyola, once they lose possession here, is going to go a man up.
Yeah, and that was a hustle foul right there. They're just trying to make plays right there. I think a little different than the penalty they took on the ride in the first half. That was a slash from behind, kind of one of those things where you're not going to get the ball, so why do it? But right there, James Burr just trying to make a play on the ride, and unfortunately gets whistled for what I think is going to be a cross-check.
Spencer through X. Sized up here by Ellerton. Fed it back up. Here's P.J. Brown. Spencer looking to call his own number. Shot goes wide.
And what a great take by Pat Spencer. Doesn't miss it by much, and he had that back pipe too. He had about 3 inches, 4 inches to hit that, and he's just a little bit wide.
Burr will sit. Loyola will go a man up. If you're in need to purchase a special gift, visit thepatriotleaguestore.com to buy Patriot League championship apparel and merchandise from your favorite Patriot League school. That's patriotleaguestore.com. So here's Loyola, a man up. Spencer and now Olmstead. He's got a hat trick today. Lindley with a pair. Spencer, nothing yet. Has it at the point. Cycle around. John Duffy. Back for Pat Spencer. Shot, saved by McSorley. Ground ball loose. The junior goalkeeper picks it up.
Great fill right there from Nick Ellerton, the Ontario native, just getting down on the backside right there, which would have been a very clean look for Loyola for a backside finish. But Ellerton with a great stick right there to put the ball on the turf, and McSorley with the loose ball scoop.
Airmailed out, chased down by Brendan Holmeyer, and now the Terriers will take their time. Burr dropped it, but alert there is the senior Holmeyer.
Yeah, Brendan Holmeyer, great read right there.
Another Long Islander.
Yeah, and that senior class right there has got Jermaine, Holmeyer, and Laviano. Laviano and Holmeyer played together in high school at St. Anthony's, and then spent a ton of time playing against Quentin Germain as Quentin went to Chaminade, and that's a big rivalry every year on the island. Chaminade, St. Anthony's, usually when they meet up, it's a marquee event.
Holmeyer. The back blocked up by Lay, and elevating to grab that one is Cole Boland.
So sloppy offensive possession right there from the Terriers.
Short stick midfielder, you don't get a chance to go vertical that often.
Oof.
Lindley's shot might have rang the iron, and it kicks wide.
Oof. And tough call right there for the Terriers. They had a midfielder and McSorley who were looked to me like they might have been closer to the ball if you're drawing it from a straight line. But the attackman on the backside was awarded possession on the chase out.
Next break will send us to our third quarter media. BU up 2-0 in the third quarter, 11-9 on the game. Scanlon. Now kick down, Duffy. Spencer through X. Scored a couple highlight reel goals this year on crease dives.
Yeah, and this is an unenviable position for any defender with Pat Spencer free behind the cage.
Jermaine slides the double. He finds Scanlon. Now Olmstead at the point. Duffy. Being shadowed there.
Great recovery from that BU defense right there. We're in a bind when they had to slide down to Spencer and able to recover all the way to the backside to reset.
Now Lindley behind the cage. Fed it back. Scanlon a shot. Saved by McSorley.
Wow.
Second time today, a couple of Greyhounds thought they had it, but the junior comes up big.
Ooh. Yeah, and right now,
Chris Gray, backhand. Went behind the back, went for the highlight reel goal. It'll stay with the Terriers.
Great opportunity right there for Chris Gray. Just a little bit wide.
Burr's back on the field. The Terriers bend, don't break on that man-up opportunity for Loyola.
Joe McSorley's been excellent low today. He's just gobbled everything up. I almost feel like if you're Loyola, you got to start talking about getting the ball up off the ground, probably hips and high.
Well, that's where they've had success so far. Remember the goal by Swindell in the first half was a laser to the top corner.
Well, it helps when, you have a Loyola offense that shoots the ball very hard.
Yeah, that does help. Laviano scores for the Terriers. The captain puts them up by 3. You say Loyola shoots hard. Michael Laviano reminding the BU favored crowd here that he can do the same thing.
Yeah. So, about 10 years ago when artificial turf was put in,
Michael Laviano has put the BU Terriers up by 3 against the number 2 team in the country. Dan McLaughlin with Justin Domingos. And right before we cut to break there, Justin, you were telling a little story.
Absolutely. Ran that one right into break. Yeah, you know what? Mike Laviano, great bounce shot, put it underneath the bar. And what I was trying to explain was when the field turf type artificial turf came into play, it takes a lot of velocity off of bounce shots. So really you saw for a good 8 to 10 years, no one really took bounce shots because it just wasn't a thing. It just decreased your chances to score. And with the, kind of the advent, the turf has progressed and people have gotten bigger, faster, stronger. The bounce is back. And Mike Laviano showing you if you're going to bounce it, make sure you bounce it out in front and get it high. And he just pinned that one underneath the crossbar.
The assist there to Matt Hilburn. That's his 2nd of the year. For Laviano's 3rd goal, 2nd-year captain who again missed all of last year with an injury. Savio's been good in the second half, but Chrisman wins this one clean. Shot goes wide. Burr is there.
Man, this is a battle at the faceoff X. Savio and Chrisman going head-to-head here. It's almost like a 50-50 pick 'em right now.
Here's Burr. Maybe a little bit ambitious there, but Timmy Lay's right there. It'll stay with the Terriers. Talked about how crucial it was for BU to come out hard here in the second half. For Coach Ryan Poley, Justin, I'd say they've done it.
Yep. You know what? The first few minutes were a little tough, but they've matched the intensity of the first half, and really, we've got the track meet that we wanted here.
Loyola has not scored here in the second half. Burr, Holmeyer.
Got him.
Skip pass. Diving.
Oof.
Shot goes wide. Ground ball scooped up. Cates has one highlight reel goal today and a couple in the last week, but not to be right there.
Great look to the backside. Found Cates. He just blew a tire there as he juked to get to the middle of the field and unfortunately couldn't get a good shot off.
Pat Spencer still without a goal. Chase Scanlon only has 1. The BU defense has been amazingly good here today. But Loyola's still got some time. Only down by 3 for an offense this dangerous.
Yep.
Joe McSorley in a beautiful day. You can see the ball well. You said it, he's been amazing low.
He stole some from him. And, with an offense with the output that they have, the law of averages are not in your favor if you're the BU defense. So you got to play your rule sets tight here and make sure you eat up any loose balls.
Spencer now in behind the cage. Olmstead fed it back. Pat Spencer lost it. Checked away by Carson, and the BU Terriers swarm. Ground ball's loose, and it's scooped up by Williamson. Wearing number 19 today to honor his late brother, and picks up a massive ground ball there.
Great ground ball right there. And you saw the BU defense right there kind of collapse and swarm to Spencer.
Chris Gray fed it in. They score. It's Lay. The lead is 4.
Wow. The pride of Massapequa, not afraid to catch the ball in traffic. And with the shovel finish right there, tough for Stover to defend.
Going to get another look at the goal here. That's number 4 for the freshman on the day. Number 27 on the year, Chris Gray. You see the pass and the pinpoint accuracy there, and then how about the finish?
Yeah, we talked about Chris Gray in the opening and what a great feeder he is, how he makes people around him better. The thing about his feeding, and it's very akin to Pat Spencer, is that they're two guys that even if you're covered, Timmy Lay was covered there. The defender had to stick on him. He's covered. Most people aren't going to throw that ball inside, but with the rapport there and the level of passing right there, Chris Gray not afraid to throw it inside, and Timmy Lay, obviously up for making the catch and shoot.
Two guys that switch numbers, both playing key roles in that goal. The ground ball by Williamson and then the goal by Lay. For the second time today, Savio's going to get called for a face-off violation. Now the Terriers with a 4-goal lead, all the momentum, and the ball.
Yeah, it's funny. Is that the first or second violation we've seen of the day? I think the second. So, unbelievable in a face-off race that's been this tight all day that's only the second violation we've seen. These guys are on the whistle.
Chrisman won the face-off job for BU over Kevin Snyder, the sophomore who's still on the roster and has been really good this year. He took the opening face-off in the opener against Providence, but Chrisman at north of 60% won the job. Here's Burr. He scores, and James Burr is now the all-time program leader in points for the BU Terriers.
Beautiful goal to become the all-time leading scorer for Boston University. Just a simple throwback and step down.
Get another look at it here. It's a hat trick for James Burr. The lead is 5. Alston is feeling it right now.
Yeah, and really tough. You know, that is definitely not the way Loyola wanted to defend that. Burr just popped out off the crease right there on the dodge, and it's just a simple throwback. It looked like Loyola was a little confused on their recovery package.
That is the 171st career point for James Burr. He breaks the program record. To be fair, it's a young program, and I think there's a certain sophomore on this roster that's got his sights set on that, yeah. But the record is Burr's.
Yeah, and what a great accomplishment for him, for his teammates and his family, and just a beautiful goal, low off ankle on Stover to get it.
James Burr has been outstanding today. 3 goals to go along with 2 assists. BU, 5 goals here in the third quarter. Loyola's got nothing. The high-powered attack looking to make something happen. Here's the freshman Scanlon, and now Duffy. Duffy calls his own number, saved by McSorley. Oof. Ground ball scooped up by Carson.
That was all knee for McSorley right there, and he's feeling it, stretching it out over there.
Here's Chris Gray for the Terriers. Levesque thought about a shot, fires it, lay off the iron.
And there has been no freshman slump for Timmy Lay. He started hot, he stayed hot, and now down the stretch for BU, he's playing offensively as good as anyone on this team.
All 3 of them have been outstanding today, and add in Holmeyer and Cates to that as well.
Yeah, it's funny. You talk about guys like James Burr who have been 4-year players for BU, and now James, the all-time leading point scorer. But this freshman class is making some noise here, telling you that the future's bright in Boston.
Here's Nugent, assisted on the first goal of the game for the Terriers. He found Lay at the top of the crease. He works through X. Screen set by Lay. Nugent rolls, lays it back. Burr.
Yep.
Not this time. It'll stay with BU. 39 on the shot clock.
No, and BU doing some very nice things to get James Burr in step-down situations right there. Slipping him out the backside, and Nugent doing a good job of finding him.
Jacob Stover and company have to step up here. Chris Gray being shadowed this time. They've done a good job on him here in the third quarter. Hasn't scored, but a big assist as BU will turn it over. Loyola needs one here. Shot clock a non-factor. Pat Spencer, hounded by Jermaine.
Big win for Boston University if they can keep it to 5 goals here.
Scanlon now for Duffy. Loyola appears to be okay with holding for last shot. Spencer unmarked behind the cage. Fresh legs out for the Greyhounds.
Looks like BU might be in a zone here.
Here's Pat Spencer. Chase Scanlon now. Now Spencer. Good look. Olmstead. Ooh. Skip pass. Shot by Scanlon goes wide.
Wow. Just the confidence to sling the ball through the formation there.
10 seconds and the ball in the cross of the best offensive player in the country. Spencer high steps. Fed it back in. Ooh. Shot off the crossbar. Kevin Lindley can't connect, and that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. A statement 15 minutes for the Boston University Terriers. They lead the number 2 Loyola Greyhounds by 5 as we go into the fourth on the Patriot League Network. The Boston University Terriers, they're 15 minutes away from knocking off the Loyola Greyhounds in what would be a game with massive implications through the Patriot League standings. I'm Dan McLaughlin with Justin Domingos. Justin, what did you see from BU that was different there in the third quarter?
I'm not sure if it was different. I just saw, after those first couple minutes to start the quarter, just a renewed focus and a relentlessness. So they played with a lot of poise and they played hard, and that's what they're going to have to do to close this game out.
Face-off win for the Greyhounds. It's unfamiliar territory for Loyola, especially in the Patriot League. They're 5-0 in conference. BU at 3-2.
5 goals, used to be kind of the nail in the coffin before the shot clock. And with the advent of the shot clock this year and the more possessions you get a game, 5 goals for this prolific offense isn't a lot. So, BU has to buckle down and Loyola has to play with, just play within their system.
Duffy, shot save. McSorley tried to go high, but Joe saw it all the way.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that, that might not have been the first option they wanted right there to start the fourth.
Williamson swims through. They're going to get the foul. BU will go a man up, but Williamson gets the stick helicoptered out, but BU keeps.
Yeah, and he got away with one swim. The second swim found out the pool was closed.
The pool might be closed, but BU certainly got to dive there as they'll go a man up if they lose possession. Going to take their time for sure. Shot clock a factor, 42 showing right now. Here's Brendan Homeyer. Now Cates. Coach Ryan Poley's team picks a good day to play one of their best games of the season. Both their conference losses are close. A couple of their wins have been dominant. But this is one that they've had circled on their calendar all year.
Well, they've played really solid lacrosse in all their conference games, and they haven't all with the exception of the Colgate game. So
here's Cates. Loyola slides to double. Loose ball picked up by Lay. Bouncer goes wide. It's going to stay with BU. And I think you make a good point about that Colgate game. It was a 9-7 final on the road. And even then, when they didn't have their best game, they found a way to make it close. McSorley and company were outstanding.
Yeah, defensively they played okay. I think it was the turnovers and just maybe their stick work offensively that game that let that get away from them. So, first league road game of the season, they didn't have it dialed in, but they've obviously rebounded from that last week against Army, a great showing from the Terriers, and now at home with a matchup against the number 2 team in the country, came to play.
Well, you just played against the Patriot League's best defense. Now you're getting a crack at the Patriot League's best offense. And they've done an outstanding job so far as Stover comes up big on the shot from Gray.
Yeah, great set for the Terriers right there. Looking for that skip to Gray for the step down. That was the whole design, and they had it, just couldn't convert because Stover was up to the challenge.
Terriers back to the 10-man ride. McSorley's got to hurry back. Long stick turned it over. You wonder there if McNulty should have pulled the trigger earlier.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You just got to be able to play in that transition. All the transition drills you do week in, week out, that's where you got to find that muscle memory and be able to make the right decision.
Ryan McNulty has a goal this year. Also scored in the NCAA tournament last year against UVA.
Yeah, Ryan McNulty is awesome in transition, so, that's an unusual turnover from him.
Terriers possessing just 12 minutes to play here at Nickerson Field. Nickerson Field, the home of the Patriot League champion BU women's soccer team. The men's lacrosse team has similar aspirations, proving that they are contenders here today.
Loyola in a zone here, playing the old 2-1-3.
Well, Gray and Burr have had their way when Loyola's gone man. So they'll see what they can do here as Burr feeds it across over Cates. Kicked forward by the Greyhounds and now into the cross of Pat Spencer, who got tomahawked from behind.
Yep. Tough right there. Your momentum's carrying you in there trying to make a play on a loose ball, and you think the offensive player is going to be gone when you get there, and Pat Spencer wasn't, had to stay to make the play on the loose ball. So kind of a tough foul for BU, but timely one for Loyola to get back a goal here, get this lead underneath 5 goals.
They'll go man up around 43% on the season. So you see Timmy Lay there, today number 0, just trotting off. It'll be Cates who takes the penalty there, and pretty much do or die right here for Loyola.
Yep. Looks like they might be dragging to get a step down for,
that'll work.
Got the drag.
They got the drag, and Kevin Lindley finds the twine. That's a hat trick for the sophomore. Goal number 50 on the season.
Yeah, and that's a tough set for any man down to defend. Lindley dragging underneath on the little slip inside. If you don't honor him and you don't defend him, he's going to score. And if you do, you're going to leave Spencer open up top for the step down. And then if you defend that, the push for one more. So BU didn't read the slip, and Lindley there to bury it home.
Assist to Aiden Olmstead. He's got a 5-point day. He's been awesome.
Yeah, that first midfield for Loyola, they are a handful to say the least.
I'd say this whole Greyhound team is a handful to say the least. But BU continues to compete. It's Chrisman to win it. Shot, Lay feeds it down low. A quick stick. It's 4 for James Burr, and the Terriers answer right back.
And just when you think Loyola's got the momentum, Chrisman comes up huge on the face-off, breaks it forward, gets it himself, able to push to Lay and then to Burr for the dunk.
How about this from Sean Chrisman? Doesn't slow up until he's ready to feed, and Lay, just that little jerk with the shoulder, Loyola commits, and Burr's wide open.
Yeah, he sold the shot right there, and nothing you can do there. Burr naked on that backside and converts.
James Burr, who already became BU's program leader in points today with a goal in the third quarter, just adds an assist to his incredibly impressive resume. 6 points on the day for the senior.
Yeah.
Here's Chris Gray now. Don't forget about him if you're Loyola. Can't chase that one down. It'll be a turnover.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Terriers going back to the 10-man here. They're not letting up. That was the game plan going in. You know, gave up a goal in that first half in the second quarter to the freshman, and going to sit back in this 10-man.
And again, it's McSorley who will shadow Spencer. Unleashes from distance again. That one well high, and it works this time. The 10-man ride does its job.
Yeah. So the Loyola attack was up, trying to get involved in the ride to try to get the ball. And, you know, an advantage for them. They had drawn McSorley up, so he wasn't anywhere near the cage. But unfortunately for the Greyhounds, they had no one to chase that shot out.
Going to get a stop and play here as it appears the scoreboard has gone down for a second.
Yeah, we've lost the time. We've lost the score.
You all at home can still see it. It's 15-10 BU as we approach the final 10 minutes of this game. He's Justin Domingos. I'm Dan McLaughlin. So glad you've chosen to spend some of your Patriots weekend here with us. Of course, we got the Boston Marathon coming up on Monday, and that's always a terrific day here in Boston.
This is I think maybe one of the, if not the best, one of the 2 best weekends in Boston, right? You know, now we've got tons of big-time college lacrosse happening here on Saturdays. You've got the lead up to the marathon. The Red Sox are at home. They play at 11 a.m. on Patriots Day in conjunction with the awesome finish to the Boston Marathon. So if you are a student, a college student in the city, this is one of your favorite weekends of the year.
And how nice is it going to be for the BU men's lacrosse team if they do hold on here? Just kicks off what's, as you mentioned, is going to be a terrific weekend for them. You mentioned some college lacrosse just across town here, not even across the river. You got Harvard hosting Penn.
Yeah, we're literally staring at their stadium right across the midfield line here. And, you know, a huge game in the Ivy League with a ton of implications there. So
Penn is sneaky good this year, the Quakers. You also got Cornell as a top 10 team this season. Of course, Yale, the defending national champions.
Yeah.
The Ivy League is strong. Harvard was here a few weeks ago, and they won an absolutely crazy game against BU in triple overtime. The effort by Gray at the end to tie it.
Yeah, and they you know, Harvard did that without Austin Madronic, who is probably their best offensive player. He sat out that night with an injury to rest him up for an Ivy League tilt on Saturday. So a lot of pride in that program, a lot of talent. And then, you know, they lost a tough one last weekend. Cornell was in town, and you know, we've talked about arguably the 3 best offensive players in the country, and Pat Spencer, Chris Gray, and Grant Ament, you know, and there's a little guy by the name of Jeff Teat over at Cornell who, you know, probably, you know, would punch me in the face for not including him in that conversation. So, you know, they're just a Patriot League, very much like the Ivy League in that all the games are tight and super competitive.
You mentioned Ament. That's the #1 team in the country right now at State College.
Yep. Yeah, Jeff Tambroni done a great job at Penn State after leaving Cornell to resurrect the Nittany Lion program and building it into a huge Big Ten contender.
Talk about Amet, talk about Gray, but don't forget about this guy, James Burr, BU's all-time points leader now. That was 171 on his goal. He added an assist to that, so now 172. He has been everything the Terriers could have possibly imagined when they recruited him out of Middlesex.
Yeah, and James, it's funny. A lot of times when you talk about a person's character and their ability to be a great person, it's, you know, maybe in deference to their play on the field, right? Well, you know, he's an okay player, but he's a great person. You know, with James Burr, they go hand in hand. He's a great player, now the all-time leading scorer in BU history. Also, you know, and Ryan Poley, who sings his praises all the time, he's a great person and has been a great leader here for BU in his 4 years.
Not ready to end his career just yet. This is a BU team that has their sights set on the Patriot League title. It's an incredibly deep league. When you look at the standings in the Patriot League right now, if things stay as they are, there's a lot of lacrosse still to be played. Colgate was nationally ranked less than a month ago. They would miss the tournament altogether.
I know. It's funny how fortunes can rise and fall very quickly. You know, probably riding back from Hamilton, New York after that loss, BU, you know, probably wasn't thinking, you know, that they wouldn't be seeing Colgate in the tournament. But if things do stay the same, that could be a reality.
And you mentioned how things can change very quickly. Every team seems to have their strengths, and Loyola is the team that can really do everything at an A level. But up and down the Patriot League, we've talked about the Army defense. Johnny Surdick, the Patriot League preseason player of the year with the long stick.
Yep.
You got A.J. Barretto in goal there. And then Holy Cross with Dan O'Connell, maybe the best face-off man in the Patriot League right now.
Yeah, you said UPenn was sneaky good. How about Holy Cross? You know, after the coaching change there, no one was giving them a chance this year, and they've come out, you know, and have proven that they are a legitimate lacrosse team that, you know, it has every bit of a chance to make a run in the Patriot League tournament.
Back in 2015, they beat Loyola in Baltimore in the snow. It was one of the highlight reel moments.
Well, Dan, I remember because I was supposed to cut that film, and we took one look at it for 5 minutes and decided there was nothing we could glean from that film, so we turned it off.
Well, Holy Cross has certainly had a flair for the dramatic across many sports. That was just one example. Right now, they're in the Patriot League playoff picture. Don't forget about Bucknell as well, who can still sneak their way in. You got Navy, who's historically an outstanding program. The Patriot League, along with the ACC and the Big Ten and the Ivy League, one of the premier college lacrosse conferences.
Yep. But the Patriot League is the biggest, so it has the most teams in any, you know, Division I lacrosse conference. So the competitiveness and the tightness is just that much more.
10-man ride from Loyola, and what a diving save there. It's going to stay.
Oh.
Shot by Lay is stonewalled. Paul Volant maybe saving the game for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, Volant out of Ridgefield, played in high school with Chase Levesque. Great play.
Volant flies under the radar a little bit for Loyola, the senior, because of all the attention that Wires gets, and rightfully so, but he's been outstanding as Loyola tries again on the 10-man ride. This one will stay with the Greyhounds.
Yeah.
Effort there from Olmsted from beyond midfield.
Volant does not fly under the radar to opposing attackmen because he is big and he is mean and he makes plays.
A little bit like a cornerback in football. I mean, we haven't called his name a lot today. It's because he's been really good. He's shut down who he's needed to. The Richard Sherman of Loyola lacrosse, as we'll say. Here's Pat Spencer high-stepping. Jermaine's done a great job on him today. Now through X is Duffy. Loyola cycles, Scanlon. Lost the handle, kept it back, bouncer. It's one of the easier saves McSorley will make today, but
Scanlon, what a great handle right there. He took two hits before he actually took the third one to put him on the ground and held on to the ball the whole time.
here's Williamson. He's been good today as well for the Terriers. Outlet passes on the money. Now down low. Shot. Goal! James Burr, and the BU lead is 6.
Hey, Burr knows Gray's chasing him for the all-time point leader, so he's gonna keep filling that goal and try to stretch it out, make Chris chase him longer. But excellent transition here from the Terriers. Started with Williamson pushing the ball. Great look from, I believe that is, was it Phillips that made the play in transition?
Phillips,
yeah,
the freshman midfielder.
Phillips.
That's his first point of the day.
I mean, Phillips makes the play right there by getting up in the air to keep the ball on his stick. That, you know, a lot of people wouldn't have been able to make that play. So Phillips, with the excellent athletic play, pushes it down to Burr for the finish.
Boston University, not ranked right now, but receiving votes. They've gotten national attention, and rightfully so. proving to the Loyola Greyhounds, the Patriot League, and the country as a whole that they are a force and hungry for more. Here's Chrisman, and Stover made a save.
Great stop by Stover. Hey, Loyola needs Savio to get going here. If they're going to get back in this game, Bailey Savio is going to be huge for them. He's got to win some draws, and if he can't get him to himself, he's got to get it to his wings. He's got great wing play, but he needs to get more involved in this game.
BU's about to go a man up, and a scary moment there for the Terrier faithful. James Burr was down on the ground, not moving for probably 5 to 10 seconds, but he's up and he's good. That's a massive relief for Boston University. Up by 6 and now up a man.
Yeah, pretty big hit. Little chin music right there to James Burr, but able to get up as he smells the blood in the water here, and with a man up opportunity, he's not going to miss that.
In the cross of Brendan Homeyer, the senior had a pair of goals in the Patriot League quarterfinal last year against Bucknell, a comeback win for the Terriers, who made the Patriot League playoffs last season despite going just 3-5 in conference. If this result holds, they'll be 4-2 with 2 to play.
This is a pivotal man down here for Loyola. Not that 7 goals, if BU were to score here, is unsurmountable, but in terms of the amount of possessions you have for the rest of the game, you're starting to get to that critical mass point where you're not going to get that many more touches. And if you don't win faceoffs, it can almost feel suffocating to not have the ball. So not the end-all be-all here, but Loyola needs to have a great man down.
Chris Gray. Now Hilburn splits to the left. Timmy Lay. Burr. BU cycles quick. 39 to shoot. Homeyer. Gray fed it down. Cates. Terriers up by 6. Gray fed it across. He had Timmy Lay.
Yeah. Great tip by Loyola to keep that ball out of the back of the net.
Every moment feels just a little bit more important now. Here's Gray. Now back for Homeyer. Chris Gray. Penalty's been released.
Yeah, good man down for Loyola right there.
BU 12 to shoot. With the ball in the cross of James Burr.
I almost thought they might be holding it, but with that pass that Gray threw through the formation, they definitely weren't holding it.
Homeyer thought about the shot before he had received the pass. So no goal on the man up, no goal on the ensuing possession, but they bleed some more time off the clock.
Well, that's what Loyola needed right now, and now they need a great clear and a good offensive possession.
They break the ride. Here's Higgins. McSorley trots his way back to the net. Here's Spencer, shadowed by Jermaine. Pat Spencer feeds it back. Kicked out by Razanka. Spencer's doubled. Now back in. There's a shot from Olmsted, goes high.
Yeah, great heads-up defense right there from Reese Eddy. Knew the substitution was happening for Loyola, so he could freely double down to Spencer and not let him go to the goal.
Eddy, the Canisius transfer, been a key addition to this Terrier squad. Ryan Poley knew it from the get-go that him and Levesque were going to combine, as that shot goes wide as well for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for lack of opportunity, right? Loyola's had some great looks. They just haven't fallen for him today.
Greyhounds need a goal in the worst way here. P.J. Brown doubled. Able to shake himself free. Now here's McGovern. He's been quiet today. Now in behind the cage. Fed back in. Loyola saved by McSorley.
Wow.
A career day for the junior netminder, but now we have a Terrier shaken up as the ball will stay with Loyola.
Unbelievable save from Joe McSorley right there. Just comes off his line, eats it with his leg. Unfortunately, Lucas couldn't get out of the zone with the ground ball. He's going to be taken off, a little shook up right there, but excellent ride by Loyola to keep the ball on the offensive end.
Good to see Josh Williamson up and running there, but Loyola will keep it. The ball now in behind the cage, playing through X's Olmsted. He shakes free.
I don't think he realized he shook his defender. There's no one guarding him there.
That would have been a time to crease roll.
Yeah.
Good defensive effort there by Phillips. Olmsted fed it across, shot, goal. It's Lindley.
Yeah. Wow, Lindley diving on that back pipe right there. Great finish and great look from Loyola. Just a, great look and great finish.
6 to play here in the fourth. That's Pat Spencer. So dangerous. This is going to take us to our final media break. 6 minutes to go. What does Loyola have left? BU leads by live here in Allston, Massachusetts with Justin Domingos. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Loyola clinging by a thread right now. BU leads 16-11. The Greyhounds get one from Lindley. They're going to need more of it.
Yeah, they need to up their offensive efficiency rate here in the next 6 minutes, as it just hasn't been their typical output. But if anybody can do it, this group can do it. But it's gotta start with Bailey Savio at the faceoff X.
Savio's going to need to be near perfect the rest of the way.
Yeah, they need possessions flat out, and they need to convert those possessions. So, big face-off right here. Going to be fun to watch because this has been a really good battle today.
Sean Christman, so good at the X today. Season as a whole, he's won 17 out of 29 here today, all of them against Savio. No personnel changes for these groups.
No, in the day and age where you're usually, trotting out a second face-off guy, these two have gone head-to-head all day.
Olmstead had the assist on the goal by Lindley, as another one is won by Christman. He's taking off, feeds it down low, airmailed it, it's intercepted and steered back out. That's John Rayleigh, the junior.
And that's as good of a face-off win if you're Loyola right there. You face-off guy won it clean, got it out, had a chance at the break, and you turned him over. So big win right there for Loyola.
Here's Aiden Olmstead, 6 points today, 3 goals, 3 assists. A great day for the sophomore.
Yeah, Aiden got some great shake to him. He's a tough cover for sure.
Scanlon. Now in behind the cage, here's Olmstead. Lost it. Scoops it up. He's being hounded by Eddie. Olmstead, shoulder jerk, sidewinder, save McSorley.
Uh-oh.
As Jermaine's taken down, ball's live, another save. That one coming off the shot from Scanlon, but it's going to head back to the Terriers. Jermaine is down.
Well, this is tough. Look like in the mix there, Quentin might have done something to his knee.
The training staff are going to take a look at Quentin Jermaine's knee. We've already seen a scary knee injury this year on the women's side with Molly Kern. For Quentin Jermaine's sake, we don't want to speculate too much. Hope it's nothing serious.
Hopefully it's just a little tweak and he can get back up here and walk off the field, because he's played such a great game, defending Pat Spencer today and really, all year. So hopefully it's just a little tweak and he can get up and get out.
Jermaine has been so good over his career at shutting down star attackmen. Last year in that quarterfinal against Bucknell, Will Sands came into that game for the Bison. 20 goals, 53 assists. In that game, no goals, 2 assists.
Yeah. He's a difference maker for sure. And, since the time he got to campus, he has been. Always carried himself as a younger man with a quiet confidence and has become more of a vocal leader now as an upperclassman and a senior. And, hopefully it's just a little blip on the radar here and we see Quentin back in this game. And if not this game, we see him next week.
A warm ovation from the home crowd, certainly deserved. It's good to see here from Jermaine. He's got a little bit of weight on it. Certainly not a welcome sight for the Terriers or their fans or lacrosse fans in general. As you see, he's helped there by Ellerton. But
what a great opportunity for the next man up here. So we'll see who the Terriers trot out down here to defend down low. They've played a great game defensively so far, so they got to continue to do that for the next 5 minutes, to thwart this potent Loyola offense.
You figure that it'll either fall to Carson or Ellerton now to follow Pat Spencer for the last 5+ here.
Yeah, and we've seen both of them on the field today. Either Carson on the wing as a long stick midi off of face-offs, and we've seen Ellerton on the man down. So. It looks like Nick Ellerton's going to come out for Quentin Jermaine and be tasked with stepping up here in the last 5 minutes.
5:14 to play here. Scanlon will start the attack here for Loyola. John Duffy. Resetti, the long stick presence out there. Here's Spencer. Fed back, sidewinding shot goes wide. Effort that time from Olmstead, who's again had himself a fantastic day.
Yep. So we'll see, Loyola on the attack here. Pat Spencer definitely going to try to initiate his defenseman.
Spencer jumps. He's stonewalled by McSorley. He
Wow.
swam his way through Carson, but the junior comes up huge for BU.
Wow. And that looked like the carbon copy we saw Pat Spencer pull off at Syracuse. Denied there. And luckily for the BU, they're on the clear now.
The Davidsonville, Maryland native, so dangerous. That one's going to stay with the Terriers. Nothing to show for it here. Give a lot of credit to McSorley. Give a lot of credit to Germain.
Yeah. So now, the possession game is critical here. And with about 56 seconds left on the shot clock, if you're BU, you want to bleed this down and maybe take a look at going to goal with about 10 to 15 seconds left.
Nugent.
Got to shrink the game here if you're BU.
Jared Nugent taking your advice to a T there. Now fed it back. Burr. Cycle down low. Timmy Lay. Dagger.
Or you can do that. That's fine too.
5th on the day for Timmy Lay. The Boston University lead is extended to 6.
I mean, okay, let's just find Timmy Lay naked on the backside. I don't think how Loyola wanted to defend it, but, really advantageous offense from the Terriers, who were still really finishing off their change sequence. Hadn't really had all their offensive personnel on the field, but some great heads-up play right here. James Burr gets the pass from Nugent and just, unfortunately for Loyola, with the shutoff on Chris Gray behind the cage, no one there to rotate.
The Junior Terriers Club is the best way for kids in the 8th grade and below to experience Boston University athletics. For $20, kids receive free admission to all regular season men's and women's basketball, lacrosse, and soccer games, women's hockey, and most men's hockey games as well, plus pizza parties, a Junior Terriers Club t-shirt, and more. For more information, go to goterriers.com/juniorterriers.
Hey, Joe McSorley, player of the game right now. Just seeing the ball extremely well. Right there, went into a split to get a piece of his body on that shot, and a great save from the netminder for the Terriers.
And probably an opportunity worth checking out for our young fans with the way this team's playing today.
Yeah, we got a ton of youth lacrosse teams here, a ton of high school teams here, so some of New England's lacrosse community getting a great experience here, having the Loyola Greyhounds in town and having such a great game on a Saturday afternoon.
The Dogs of the Patriot League go head-to-head, and so far it's the Terriers who have had the game go their way. Timeout on the field for Charlie Toomey and Loyola. Justin, you've been in situations like this on the sideline. Your attack is good enough to score in bunches. If your faceoff man gets hot, you can get possessions. What's the message to the team right now?
Well, the message right here coming out of this timeout is we're going to have to double the ball out of the timeout and get the ball back, right? And then it's this probably the same thing that Coach Toomey and staff talked about from the beginning of the game. It's one play at a time. We got to win the next ground ball. Got to play efficient offensively, but now the onus is on time, right? 3:02 left in the game. BU wants to shrink the game, so they're going to try to run out this shot clock, which sits at 41 seconds. That's going to take us down to, really a 3-possession game at the end of the shot clock. So the time is now. They're not going to have another chance. If they don't get a turnover early here in this possession, the game is essentially over because you're just going to run out of time.
Only Penn State and Cornell have higher scoring offenses this season in NCAA men's lacrosse than Loyola. Give a lot of credit to Joe McSorley and Quentin Germain and Chase Levesque and company for the job they've done, particularly on Pat Spencer.
Yeah, it's been something to see. It starts with the one-on-one defense that Quentin Germain has played. They've been supporting him, right? But it hasn't been all-out slides. They're not sending people constantly down to Pat Spencer. They're really letting Quentin Germain sit down, play good one-on-one defense. They're showing to him, which a lot of times has made him move the ball because that's good offense. And it's hurt him a few times. But for the whole, Quentin Germain has been up to the task of defending, arguably the nation's best player right now in Pat Spencer.
Back on March 30th, Spencer had a 10-point game against Colgate. He became the first Division I lacrosse player on the men's side since 2015, and Lyle Thompson, the terrific player from Albany, to have back-to-back 10-point games.
Yeah.
That is just an over-the-moon impressive statistic there from Spencer. He's got 1 point today.
I know, and that's high praise, right? When you're putting your name next to Lyle Thompson's name and Pat Spencer. So, to have that kind of output, and then, unfortunately for Pat to show up today and not have that typical output that he has, it's tough. But, definitely a player that's going to rebound and come back with a fury.
Well, if you're Loyola, you'd much rather him do it on April 13th than May 13th.
Right, but they got what they wanted here, right? They got the ball out of that double team, and unfortunately just turned it over here.
Eddie for Burr. Walks in, feeds it down. Gray scores!
Wow.
Chris Gray's been quiet in the second half. Burr and Lay have been electric, but right there, Chris Gray builds on another monster performance.
Yeah, and Loyola pretty lucky they didn't take a penalty at the end of that. One of the defenders broke his stick in half on the pipe. But, tough for Loyola. Got what they wanted off that double team, and unfortunately, great steal in transition. And it's the Burr and Gray show on the back end here to make it 18-11.
It's all the little things if you're the Terriers. And how about this pickup? Reese Eddy coming over from Canisius. Second team All-MAC selection a season ago. All-rookie team as a freshman. Scored 12 goals as a long pole midfielder for the Golden Griffins. And they get him to come to Alston. And what a presence he's been alongside Levesque.
Yeah, Reese Eddy is the type of defender that Coach Poley really likes. He's got great ball skills. He's great off the deck. And he's just, when you look at his skill set, he's the type of defender that BU wants to recruit. So it was a big win for them to get him in the transfer market, and he has definitely shown up all year long for the Terriers.
That one's airmailed from Peter Swindell as we approach the final 2 minutes. Duffy fed it in. Scanlon couldn't handle it. He's going to scoop it back up. He's being slashed at by Eddy. And now we're going to get the flag. Phillips came over to slide as well, and he's going to be the one who will trot off. Man-up situation coming up for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, and this man-down unit for BU has played extremely well today. And they've been good all year, but I think, they've risen to the challenge of facing one of the better man-up units in Loyola.
I mean, you got Pat Spencer, who we've talked about as the odds-on favorite to win the Tewaaraton. You also have Scanlon and Lindley, who are recently added to the watch list for the lacrosse equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. They have so many weapons. Add Olmstead into that as well, and Jermaine and McSorley and Eddy and Levesque and Carson and Ellerton have been so good today.
Yeah. When it rains, it pours here. Tough day offensively for Loyola. And it's funny, you say tough day, they've got 11 goals.
Yeah. If that's your bad day, you're doing something right.
Yeah. There are a ton of teams in this country that would love to have this bad day.
Here's Cates. Minute and a half to go. BU can essentially bleed the clock essentially out at this point.
You got a hurt Terrier on the field right now. Nick Moeller is down near the midfield line. Took a hit to the leg.
Moeller, the sophomore from Playa del Rey, California. Went to Loyola High School.
Which Loyola?
The one in California.
LA Loyola or
Yes.
Baltimore? Okay.
No. From LA. He's from California. You do have Loyola Blakefield, of course, right down the road from Loyola University. They used to be the same school. They were connected, and then the high school moved up Charles Street a little bit to what's now known as Blakefield, and they go with blue and gold. Their mascot's the Dons. The green and gray and white college, of course, took the mascot of the Greyhounds. They were Loyola College for the longest time. Became Loyola University this decade, as you see that Moeller is getting helped off the field. It's another MIAA school. We've talked about them a lot. Coming out of that conference in this game, Spencer, McGovern. Also have Bobby Austin, the McDonough product for Loyola, and then the two goalkeepers, both Stover and McSorley. And for quite a while, that was the powerhouse conference in the country for high school lacrosse, and some will say it still is.
Yeah, there's no lack of talent down in Baltimore, and certainly the MIA gobbles it up down there. So, a lot of fun watching those games, and always a treat, I think, at the end of the spring, getting to go down and watch those championship games in Baltimore.
Talked about Loyola. They had one of the biggest upsets in high school lacrosse history back in 2013 against Boys Latin, undefeated, #1 team in the country. Spencer was on that BL team. That would have been his sophomore year.
Yeah, and that was one for the ages right there.
Amazing comeback win for Loyola, and the hero of that game, among other players, was Timmy Nordbrook. He went on to play club at Virginia Tech, along with a number of college lacrosse players from both sides in that game. And now we're going to get a timeout on the field. The Terrier bench is loving it.
Yeah, they're feeling it now.
Under a minute to go. Looking ahead here for Loyola, this begins a 3-game road trip to close out their regular season. They will go to Army next, so they're going to have a challenge there with Cerdic and Barreto and company, and then at Lafayette to close out the regular season. Again, the Greyhounds are already in the Patriot League playoffs. They're going to be fine. Even with the loss here today, Lehigh's in second. They've dropped a game, and Loyola's got the head-to-head.
Yeah. So, it's Loyola's conference to lose right now. And definitely a challenge for them at West Point and then finishing up with Lafayette. But, I would not want to be the team that had to face Loyola after this game because they're going to come out with a vengeance.
Brian Poley told me at the beginning of the season that James Burr is an amazing leader and one of the more under-recognized players in the Patriot League. Had the game-winning goal against Loyola, as we alluded to earlier 2 years ago, for the first time that the Terriers ever defeated the Greyhounds. And today, he's recognized. He's got a 9-point outing, 5 goals and 4 assists.
Yeah, he just keeps getting better, and that's what you want all your players to do. Much like a guy like Pat Spencer, who just has gotten better throughout his whole career. James Burr has been on, maybe not in terms of points, but has definitely been on the same trajectory of just year in, year out getting better.
And the way he can take over a game at times. Said earlier, McSorley's the player of the game, and it's hard to argue with that. But by the way, 9 points for Burr, 8 for Gray, 5 goals for Timmy Lay.
Yeah.
Jermaine held Pat Spencer to 1 assist.
Yep. And, let's not forget about the national implications this has. For BU, this puts them back in the national, in the national spotlight and in the national conversation. So they should get some more votes next week and be in a few of the media polls and coaches polls. So, definitely good for them in terms of national recognition.
The rankings only go up to 20, but BU, in terms of the votes they're getting, would be 24. Tell you who's a big BU fan right now is the Maryland Terrapins. This will give them an opportunity to move up to number 2.
Yeah.
UVA and Yale right there as well. Figure with this kind of win and this emphatic of a win that we're going to be seeing the Terriers in the top 20 come next week.
Yeah, it should happen, but you never say never. It's up to a lot of people to make that decision, but the Terriers no doubt have shown today that they are amongst the best 20 teams in the country.
BU's going to advance to 9-4 overall and 4-2 in the Patriot League. For Loyola, it'll drop them to 9-3 as we approach the final 10 seconds. It's been a wild one here in Allston, Massachusetts. The Boston University Terriers at home take down the number 2 team in the country. Allston, Massachusetts, enjoy this one on Patriots weekend in Boston. The Terriers knock off Loyola in convincing fashion. An absolutely sublime performance by the Terriers. We'll be back in just a couple to wrap up this one and unpack what we just witnessed. It's an 18-11 victory for the Terriers on the Patriot League Network.